And good afternoon, everybody. Welcome here to Talladega Superspeedway as we get ready here for race number 29, chase race number 9 of the NNSCRA Snickers Cup Series here in Season 8. This is probably going to be one of the more impactful Talladega races that we've ever had based on the new format we have in our Snickers Cup Series chase for the championship, because after today's race only 4 drivers will be in the hunt for the Snickers Cup Series championship, and all 4 of them, unless one of them wins the race here today, would end up heading into the season finale at Armory Digital Superspeedway all tied up for the points lead, which basically means next week at Armory, whoever finishes best wins the championship. It's going to be a lot of pressure on drivers here today. The Elite 8 vying for 4 spots in the Final 4 for the final race of the championship hunt. Here today, these are those drivers that are in that hunt. Levi McIntyre, Jacob Lawler, John Cittadino, Michael Norman, Dylan Poteet, Trent Dunham, Dylan Young, and Jessica Shelton. Now, one driver that really is in a very difficult position today is actually Jessica Shelton, who actually, last time we were here at Dega, was the winner of the race. But Shelton comes into this race a total of 36 points out of that 4th position. Pretty much she has to have everybody ahead of her finish out of the race down in the low 30s to into the 40s, 41st, 42nd, as well as 40th, in order for her to have a shot of getting up into one of those final 4 spots. But remember, she won this track last time we were here. If she wins today, she automatically gets one of those final 4 spots. So keep that in mind as well. But it's really, really close. The points from 2nd on down through 7th, that's where our main focus will be during the course of today's race. As right now, Levi McIntyre looks like he could very well be the first of the drivers to transfer into that Final 4. Comes into this race 32 points ahead of 2nd in points Jacob Lawler. So he's got himself a nice little cushion, and he can kind of afford a mistake here today at Talladega, just not too big a mistake, depending on how the other drivers do. But as far as 2nd down through 7th, this is what it looks like right now. Jacob Lawler is in 2nd in the points. John Cittadino is only 4 points behind him. Michael Norman, 4th in the standings, is only 6 points behind Cittadino. Then Dylan Poteet, who's trying to make his way into the top 4, behind Michael Norman, he's only 7 points back. Same for Trent Dunham, who is 6th in the points, and Dylan Young is only 10 points behind Michael Norman. So it's going to be really, really close between those 6 drivers on who's going to get those final few transfer spots. But we're going to get these cars rolling off here. We got 38 laps of racing here today at Talladega. It's going to be a long one. Hope you're ready for some great action. And if we have any indication in this race of what's happened this past week, we don't have a clue what to expect, because the Last of Us Light Series race involved a lot of wrecking. The Oreo Truck Series race and Mobile Cup Series races were relatively calm. What are we going to see here today in this race? I don't know, but I can't wait to find out. As you look at the top of your screen, you see your starting lineup. You'll notice 4 chasers starting inside the top 10 in this race. Shelton in 5th, Cittadino in 6th, Dylan Young in 7th, and Trent Dunham in 9th. So that's a couple of drivers there in Shelton, Dunham, and Young that are right now coming into this race outside of the top 4 in the point standings. Dougie Shears sits on the pole position. He's one of the Michael Norman Motorsports drivers that has yet to go to victory lane yet this season. The only other one is... my mind just went blank. I'll think of it in just a minute. But he's got William Duncan lining up alongside of him. Duncan's 19th in points, so but he hasn't gotten to victory lane yet this season, so you can bet he's definitely going to be on a mission to try and get to victory lane for sure. I still can't remember who that, I thought there was a 5th driver for, maybe not. I don't know. I can't seem to remember. I thought there was a 5th driver for Michael Norman Motorsports. Anyway, James Silverfox, who had a great run last week at Thornton, he'll line up in 3rd, and Zachary Fitzwater, who's just been having absolutely horrible luck in the last couple of weeks, lining up in position number 4. So we'll see if maybe he can get his season turned around here. The defending winner of this race is actually in this field. Megan Atkins is in this field in the 33. She's starting way near the back of the pack, though. I think she's rolling off somewhere just outside of the top 35 as we're ready to get them underway. The 21 and the 12 reverse numbers on the front row for the start of this race, and the green flag is out here at Talladega. Who are going to be the final four to transfer into this season's battle for the championship? Dougie Shear's going to move out in front. James Silverfox is going to use that inside line to propel him to second. Keep in mind, too, Audi has yet to go to victory lane this season. They have not yet been able to get any of their drivers into victory circle. Oh, they're going to go 4 wide back there, I believe. Oh, Makoto Iguchi forcing the issue there with Ian Dutta. Trent Dunham caught in the middle of that, along with Zachary Fitzwater getting caught way up on the high side. And Dutta actually made that move work to get by Trent Dunham. And look who coming to the inside right now. That's Dylan Young in the, well, it's the blue and black deuce today. Dylan Young is a former winner this season, won back at the road course of Champs-Élysées. That's what got him into the chase for the championship. And he's only 10 points out of that 4th spot in the point standings. Now remember, a win would automatically guarantee him a spot in that final 4. He's got fellow Fords behind him, not teammates though of his, but they're teammates of each other. The 9 of Makoto Iguchi and the 19 of Jake Rogers. Iguchi hasn't been to victory lane since the Daytona 500. Jake Rogers has yet to go to victory lane this season in Snickers Cup. And here comes last week's winner, Chris Washer, who won at Thornton, picked up Uper Motorsports and Dodge's first win of Season 8. He's now coming to the front really quickly. Oh man, I don't like this back here with Trent Dunham and company. We got to jump back there. This is getting really, really testy up here. Look at Megan Atkins, Sean Henley. Those drivers started at the rear of the field. They're already working their way up here almost into the top 20. Oh, Joshua Collard moving down there towards the apron. They have been told they are allowed to go down there and use that apron just as long as all 4 of their tires do not go over that yellow line. And they've been really flirting with that yellow line here this whole weekend. This is still chaotic racing back here. And there's quite a few of those chasers in this mix. Dylan Poteet back there on the high side. Michael Norman coming up on the inside back there. Right in the middle is Jacob Lawler. He's now got actually Poteet right behind him. Trent Dunham's up there on the high side of this. And now John Cittadino going low. Going to try and get himself out of this hornet's nest. Levi McIntyre is also back there. See him back behind James Qualls in that black and yellow number 60. As a number of drivers utilizing that apron again. Now, a big reason why they're using that apron is because of the exit off of turn 2. A lot of times, drivers seem to slide up off of turn 2 and get into other drivers, and that causes big wrecks. I think that's been a big reason why we've been fortunate of not having nearly as many cautions here this weekend at Dega. Because of the fact that these drivers are allowed to utilize that apron, gives some room off of 2, and they're less accident prone. Up here at the front, though, they're going crazy for second place. Zach Buchanan going to move underneath of Isaac Canepa and Jake Rogers. You got Danny Wells pushing him. Kyle Matthews, our winner from Lime Rock, is coming up here, and right behind him is chaser John Cittadino. Oh, Cittadino, I think he got down beneath that yellow line. He might actually have to give those positions back. I'm not certain, though, if he maybe didn't get forced down there by Sean Henley. If we see Cittadino starting to fall towards the back, then we'll know that he probably was told by NSRA officials to give those positions back due to an illegal move. As right now, I don't know if he's been told or not, because he's going underneath of Joshua Collard for the lead. Danny Wells going to move underneath as well. Kyle Matthews. Danny Wells, 2-time winner this season. One of his wins came at a restricted play track. It was at Daytona, the first chase race. So keep your eyes on him. He right now is the highest running non-chaser in points. And he has a 58-point advantage over the next driver in points, which would be 18th, which ironically was the driver that helped get Danny Wells up to this spot, that 24 of Kyle Matthews, who now is starting to fall back. And apparently NSCRA felt that Sean Henley had forced John Cittadino down there beneath that yellow line, and therefore he did not have to give back those spots because he has not yet adhered all of those spots that he gained with that move down beneath the yellow line. Here comes Joshua Collard up the inside. I'll tell you what, if there's one driver that really could use a good run today, I think it would be Joshua Collard, because Collard ended up moving into the final 12 during the contender round, and then it just seemed like the wheels came off the Miku Express because he all of a sudden was finishing dead last almost week after week. A streak of poor finishes just took him out of the hunt for the championship and moving into the next round. As pit stops are going on, Danny Wells, the first of the drivers to hit pit road. James McLeod, Kyle Matthews. I saw Brandon Gonzalez hitting the pit lane as well. Jacob Lawler, that's a chaser that's hit pit road. Zachary Fitzwater, another chaser, and Dylan Young. Former champion Charles Jackson. Ashley LaPlante, our winner from Indy. Trent Dunham's in. Cody Lamas, Joshua Michaels. There's Tanner Sullivan, who's in the hunt for Rookie of the Year honors right now. Basically looks like it's going to be between him and Nathan Hudson. Brandon Gonzalez, there you see, leaving pit road. And Cole Daly's going to come down pit road as well. I think Daly may have lost the draft. He's a long ways back here, is Cole. And now here comes Joshua Balkowitz as well. He's on the tail end of the lead lap, or else he's just fallen a lap down. One or the other is now John Cittadino. Will come to the pit lane. Dougie Shears right behind him. I believe Sanford may be staying out. Dylan Poteet's in. Duncan. Bob Jones, Silver Fox, Rogers. There's Hudson. Buchanan, Aguchi, Shelton, McCrory, Ian Dutta, Galligan, Norman, Canepa. There's Atkins. I thought I saw somebody stay out. Maybe I'm wrong. I thought there was one driver that did stay out, though, and didn't pit. And it was Joshua Collard, who I believe could actually be out of fuel. Look out! Collard, get that thing down to the apron, please. Man, he just held up Ashley LaPlante. It's a wonder LaPlante didn't run into him. And I think Collard may be out of fuel. Oh, man, can this guy not catch a break? Coming to the pit lane. Fortunately, he didn't have to teleport to pit road. He was able to get to pit road. If the car's going to run out of fuel, I guess better in turn 3 rather than all the way over in turn 1. But he's going to hit this pit sign and now get his car to work. And his teammate Sanford tried doing the same thing, and now he's out of fuel. You can hear that car. That car's actually trying to refire, and it can't. Oh, man, that's a tough break there. As it looks like the lead could cycle around to the Audi of Noah Hart. Well, maybe not. John Cittadino got to make him look down to the inside for that position. Coming to the line here. This undoubtedly is the battle for the lead due to the hardships by both the Mitsubishi Lancers, Joshua Collins, and his teammate Charles Sanford, trying to stretch an extra lap. Apparently, you can't do that here in these Snickers cars. And they're coming up here on the slower machine of Cole Daly. But Cittadino, right now, he wants to get himself into the hunt for the championship here. The Season 5 champion looking to defend his crown and become the first ever 2-time Snickers Cup Series champion. As Danny Wells kind of got held up there behind Cole Daly, and so did everybody else. Now they'll all move down to the inside. This is not necessarily a good thing for Cittadino either, because once those guys all get regrouped, reformed, and bunched back up, they're going to run down that Expedec Chevrolet pretty quickly. So let's find out where our chasers are running after all of these pit stops here for this first time. Cittadino is the leader, so he's in the best position. Dylan Poteet's now worked his way up to 3rd. Remember, he came into this race only 7 points behind Michael Norman, so Norman now has got to be on pins and needles. I saw Dylan Young back there. There he is. Crossed the line last time by in 9th. So this is exactly what he needed. Jacob Lawler, there he is. He is in, well, he was 14th. I think he's back somewhere around 16th now. Looking further back. There you find Trent Dunham. 26th was the last place he was scored in. There's Levi McIntyre running in 33rd. I think he still would be in the hunt for the championship, though. Things do not look like they're going well for Jessica Shelton at the moment as far as trying to get in via points. So she's got to try and utilize some pit strategy here in the next maybe 2 pit stops or so to try and get herself to the front to maybe try and win this thing in order to transfer in. There's Michael Norman. He is currently scored in the 37th position. Now the good news is he's with a group of cars and not all by his lonesome. So there still is hope for the 3, but he definitely needs to have a good run. And he needs to use some pit strategy to gain himself some track position for sure. There's Sanford. He made it to pit road, but I think he fell a lap down. Corbett is also way back here in 40th. Don't know what happened to Kyle. And then we're back to the front as Kyle Matthews goes to the point. And look who's up here. The defending winner of this race, Megan Atkins, is all of a sudden up in this mix here as it's a 5-car breakaway, or no, make it 6-car breakaway at the front of the field. 2 drivers out of Tweenix Racing, 1 out of Kyotech, 1 out of Citadino Ed Motorsports, and 1 out of Hendrick Daly Motorsports. And out of these 6, 4 of them have been to victory lane. Poteet won at Dover, Citadino won back at Rockingham, North Carolina. Danny Wells has won twice at Daytona and Chicagoland, and Kyle Matthews won at Lime Rock. Noah Hart and Megan Atkins had wins last season, but have not been to victory lane yet this season. And based on what I'm seeing right now, based on the point standings, it looks like it could very well be McIntyre, Citadino, Lawler, and Poteet. However, Dylan Young could make quite a case there as well of possibly knocking out Jacob Lawler. Let's see if that's a possibility here. Where did Dylan Young cross the stripe last time by? In 19th. Well, he's actually right now behind Jacob Lawler, so he's got to get up past Jacob Lawler. And he has to finish a total of, 17 positions ahead of Jacob Lawler. Just saw some drivers hitting pit lane again. Seeing if I can find him. Oh, it was Joshua Balkowitz, who actually had pitted earlier than everybody else the last time around, too. It cycled him around inside the top 15, though. So, interesting strategy. Short pitting for the 91, and we'll see if anybody from this top 6 will be coming to pit road this time. This is looking very much like our Truck Series race, caution free, and it comes down to pit stops. Danny Wells, he's peeling off, he's going to hit the pit lane, so he'll give up the 6th position. Here come more. Cody Lamas coming in. Whoa, traffic jam there at the entrance of pit road. Brandon Gonzalez in, he got a little shove from Joshua Michaels. Chasers Dylan Young and Lawler are in. There's Trent Dunham. See if any other chasers come in this lap. Shelton's in. There's Cole Daly, and I think that's it for everybody coming to pit road, at least on this lap. 3 wide for the lead. John Citadino going low on Megan Atkins and Dylan Poteet. Going to try and do it on his own. They got the returning machine of Joshua Balkowitz just ahead of him, but some of these guys may be heading to pit road this lap. Looks like Citadino is, Matthews is. Actually, they all are. Atkins, Dylan Poteet, and Noah Hart. They're all hitting the pit lane. We'll jump back here to Megan Atkins, as she has one of those further back pit stalls. Shears is in. Iguchi, Silver Fox, Canepa, Rogers, Buchanan, Henley, Jackson, Bob Jones. Looking for a couple more of our chasers, including Levi McIntyre. There's Norman. Where's the 60? Did he not come in this lap? Oh, there he is. Levi McIntyre was actually scored in 19th last time by, but that's because of all those other drivers that had pitted. Lengthy pit stop there for the 60, making sure he's full of fuel. And he is down and away. There's Michael Norman. I think McIntyre, I don't know, did McIntyre come in ahead of Norman? Or did Norman have a really slow pit stop? Anyways, we're going to try and find the front of the field, which I think I'm not even near. There we go. There they are. Citadino, Atkins, coming off the pit lane. I think Danny Wells is the car coming out at 2. He is. So how soon will these drivers bunch up again? We'll find out in just a minute. As it's going to be the 72, the 33, probably the 4. No. then Noah Hart in the 81, then Matthews, then Danny Wells, and then Dylan Poteet. That'll be your top 6. Then Iguchi, Canepa, Dougie Shears, and then a battle between Silver Fox and Zach Buchanan. That's for 10th. And now Silver Fox throws the block on Buchanan, going to go to the inside of Dougie Shears for 9th. There's Lawler. He's going to cross the stripe in the 16th position, so the guy who came in 2nd in points right now looking good to try and get himself into the hunt to defend his championship. We've never had a 2-time winner in Snickers Cup Series. We've never had a back-to-back champion in NNSCRA history. And right now, Jacob Lawler, who won the championship in an entirely different ride last year, the 11 for Joe Gibbs Racing, trying here in the Hendrick Daly Motorsports Chevy Camaro to get himself back into the championship picture. The question is, who's that 4th driver going to be that's in the hunt? Right now, it could potentially be maybe Dylan Young? I don't know. I mean, the big thing that's the wild card factor in all this is the fact that Levi McIntyre came in so far ahead in the point standings. Cittadino is running up at the front, Lawler's in 16th, and Dylan Poteet's running up there in that top area too. He came in 3 spots ahead of 3 points ahead of Dylan Poteet in the points, so Dylan Young needs to get up there and battle with Poteet if he's going to get one of those transfer spots, because these two are trying to take advantage of the fact that Michael Norman is not running so well. Right now, he's 39th. Trent Dunham's back here in this group as well. This is not good for either the 1 or the 3. Levi McIntyre, as I said, he has a little bit more of leeway here today because he came into this race 32 points ahead of 2nd. I mean, even right now, Jacob Lawler would not be capable of taking the points lead away from Levi McIntyre with where he's running at the current moment. That's just how far ahead in points McIntyre was able to get in the past 2 races at Texas and Thornton. There's Sanford. And I believe Cole Daly is running all by his lonesome as well. So is Kyle Corbett. I think we have 2 drivers a lap down, Sanford and Cole Daly. Cole Daly a lap down due to losing the draft early on. And Sanford a lap down because he ran out of fuel on the first cycle of pit stops and had to coast it all the way around, pretty much from the back straightaway. Got ourselves a nice group here at the front of the field, though, in this big battle for the top position. Zach Buchanan now going to go to the inside line and go to the front. You got Lawler up there in this mix now, Cittadino, Dylan Poteet. I'm thinking right now the top 4 are situated with McIntyre, Lawler, Cittadino, and Poteet at the current moment. Just on the fact that those 3, Lawler, Cittadino, and Poteet, are up here in this lead pack. The other ones, Michael Norman, Trent Dunham, seem to be struggling, and Dylan Young has not yet been able to get himself up here in this mix. If he can get up here, then it would be a battle, I think, between the Dylans maybe for that final transfer spot, barring any problems that might occur to the 5 and the 72. Right now, though, you got the BMW M3 of Zach Buchanan leading this race. Buchanan's done a great job coming in replacing at first Seth Cole and then the rookie Alex May. Buchanan's best finish, I think, was a 6th place run that took place, or no, it was 4th, I'm sorry, at Kansas. But he has yet to go back to victory lane in the Snickers Cup Series event, and we're going back with pit stops again. Yes, Bolkowitz is hitting pit lane again. So my indication is that we're probably going to have at least maybe 1 more pit stop after this, maybe possibly 2. Right now, though, it's Buchanan, then the Daytona 500 winner, Makoto Iguchi, then our winner from Infineon, Joshua Michaels, and then Jacob Lawler and Danny Wells. So 4 former winners in the top 5 right now. The only one that hasn't won that's up here is leading this race, and that's Zach Buchanan. They're coming up on a slower machine. I believe that could be the Kyle Corbett machine. Corbett's actually about to catch Cole Daly. And it looks like Daly's hitting the pit lane. And a number of others are hitting pit road too as Buchanan and Makoto Iguchi stay out. Joshua Michaels is coming in along with Jacob Lawler. Bob Jones, Sean Galligan, they're staying out. Jackson and Henley working together, they're staying out. Michael Norman deciding to stay out. Interesting strategy here. Remember, he comes in this race in that critical 4th position in points. He kind of needs to risk something here now because of how well drivers ahead of him are running. There's Cittadino. Where's the 2? There he is. I was just about to look for Dylan Young, and there he is pulling into the pit stall right behind Cittadino. He was scored 25th last time by. The driver he needs to be right with is Dylan Poteet, who just passed him. Dylan Young's got to get going here. Oh, he's going to lose quite a bit of ground there on Poteet. It's not good for the 2. That's the driver he's got to target, is the 31. Jessica Shelton, Ralph Mason, they had pitted 1 lap earlier. And now here come the drivers that stayed out. Dougie Shears, Makoto Iguchi, Bob Jones, Jackson, McCrory, Hudson, Ian Dutta. There's Buchanan, who was leading at the time. Kyle Matthews and Isaac Canepa drag racing with each other off of pit road. Unless they haven't made their pit stops yet, but I think they have. Boy, this is good. Right down to the wire. I don't know who even got it. It might have been Matthews by an inch. And here comes that lead pack. Lawler, Cittadino, Michaels, and Danny Wells back there. Trying to catch up here as Makoto Iguchi beat Zach Buchanan off the pit lane. So the 9 will come out in front after the cycle of these pit stops. Buchanan in second. And how soon will it be before these guys get caught by this group? Michaels, Cittadino, Lawler, Danny Wells, and Isaac Canepa going to try and melt himself into this draft. Looks like he's already done so. Kyle Matthews back here. Brandon Gonzalez having a great run here today in that Mitsubishi Lancer. The only Mitsubishi that's actually really having a good run because both his teammates ran out of fuel during the cycle of pit stops the first time around. Whoa, Dougie Shears getting awfully close there to Cole Daly as his teammate. Bob Jones is pushing him up through the field here. Joshua Balkowitz there caught on the high side. So they're all going to try and make their way around Cole Daly here. Noah Hart going to the inside now. As up ahead, I think they are starting to reel in those top 2 of Zach Buchanan and Makoto Iguchi. They have. We have now a 7-car breakaway at the front of the field. 2 BMWs. 2 Chevy SS's, 3 Chevy SS's, my apologies, 1 Chevy Camaro, and 1 Ford Fusion. And Cittadino going to go to the inside line. You know, it's interesting to watch Lawler and Cittadino. Those 2 have actually been working together quite a bit this race to keep themselves up here at the front of the field. I mean, they both know what's at stake. They both know that they have to finish well in order to transfer into those 4 transfer spots into the final 4 battle next week at Armory. But they also got to keep in mind that if they both make it, they're racing against their championship opponent right now. So there's got to be a little bit of cat and mouse going on between these 2, you got to bet. They're both former Snickers Cup Series champions. Cittadino taking the championship in Season 5 and Lawler taking the championship last season in Season 7. As Lawler put a major block on rookie Isaac Canepa and Zach Buchanan in order to take that top position. Now these guys, as they're racing amongst themselves, there's been a big pack that's formed up behind them. And they're all running single file. Shears, Jones, Galligan, Brandon Gonzalez, Balkowitz, Tanner Sullivan, and Cody Lamas. And then not too far behind them, the lap machine of Kyle Corbett. Then Kyle Matthews, Megan Atkins, Noah Hart, James Silverfox, and there's Dylan Poteet. He has actually lost some ground. He's 19th now after the cycle of these pit stops. And remember, he came in 7 points behind Michael Norman. For Norman to still hold on to his spot, he has to be running in 26th or better. Where's the 3 at? Was he able to gain anything on the pit stop? He's 28th right now. So by 2 points, he would be out of the top 4. But there are a number of drivers up ahead of him that he can maybe start making up some ground here. So things are not so dire just yet for Michael Norman, but There's still about, what, 9 more laps to go and still a pit stop left to go. If you're Michael Norman, do you pull the Hail Mary? I don't know, but we're about to find out. Dylan Young, Trent Dunham also way back here. Since they're racing right now with Michael Norman, that takes them out of the picture of getting into one of those final 4 spots. It's basically now the battle going to be going on between Michael Norman and Dylan Poteet for that final transfer spot. I'd got to think, because Levi McIntyre's still running. He'll more than likely transfer in. And Jacob Lawler, John Cittadino have not really fallen outside of the top 10, or at least the lead pack all race long. They're running 1st and 3rd right now. So I believe it's going to come down between Michael Norman and Dylan Poteet for that final transfer spot into the final 4 in the battle for the Snickers Cup Series Championship. As they come up here on the machine of Charles Sanford, he is up to speed, but he is slow due to the fact he had no drafting partners. And I think Cittadino may be coming to pit road. He is. Now this is completely unusual from this entire race, because Cittadino usually stays out another extra lap before the pit stops begin, but he's in. So is Sullivan. There's Balkowitz. He's been the one that's hit pit road first every single time. And did I see Poteet coming down? Yeah, Poteet's deciding to come down early as well. Fitzwater's in, Dunham. Did Norman come in this time? No, he decided to be off the sequence of Poteet. Langford and McLeod way back here. They may have lost the draft at some point. Oh, wow, William Duncan also way back here. As at the front, it's a battle between Joshua Michaels and Jacob Lawler. And looks like Michaels is coming in this time. Lawler's going to come in. And everybody is going to come in this time. So let's follow the 3 of Michael Norman, because this is very important. This pit stop could be the pit stop that's going to decide whether he or Poteet are going to get that 4th and final transfer spot into the championship hunt next week at Armory Digital Superspeedway. Let's see how good a pit stop Michael Norman's team's able to give him. They are going to go with tires. They're going to go at least with left sides. Would they go with just 2 tires and fuel? Looks like that's what they're going to do. They're going to go with just the left side tires on the 3, get it full of fuel, and he is down and away. Now we're going to have to see after the pit stop cycle just exactly how far behind Dylan Poteet he is. He needs to finish at the most 7 spots behind Dylan Poteet in order for the 2 of them to be tied up. If they're tied up, then we get into a whole bunch of tiebreaker things, I think. He's going to come out here, and well, he comes out behind McIntyre. He comes out behind Dunham. Boy, it looked like a good pit stop, but maybe it wasn't. Wow, Chris Washer's way back here. They have him scored in 36th right now. Our winner from Thornton, he lost the draft. Harrison Langford and James McLeod did as well. They're 37th and 38th. William Duncan back in 39th. And there's the 40th place car, the now lap machine of Kyle Corbett. 3 wide for the lead. Joshua Michaels, Jacob Lawler, and Isaac Canepa. Now look at this. We got quite a few players up here at the front of the field again now, as they've all bunched back up. And here's a bad news for Michael Norman. Dylan Poteet is up in this lead pack again. So I don't know if Norman went with a Hail Mary play, but apparently Poteet did, because he's up now inside the top 10. Now we know Norman was way back in the field because he got passed by Trent Dunham, Dylan Young, and a number of others who were running back in the 25s or somewhere like that. So this is not good for Michael Norman right now. If Poteet wins this thing, it's definitely over. Contact there between him and Noah Hart. That was almost a wreck. Close call there between Noah Hart and Dylan Poteet. If Poteet had wrecked, that would have just definitely completely changed the aspect of this race. But he hangs on to it, as at the front it is John Cittadino leading the way. Brandon Gonzalez second, but here comes a duo down low in Buchanan and Lamas. Now Lamas going to move Zach Buchanan out of the way. And, well, looked like he was going to give his loyalties to the high side. Now thinks better of it and comes back down low, picking up the draft off of Dylan Poteet. Megan Atkins is now back up in this lead draft. James Silverfox is back up here. His teammate Tanner Sullivan and Joshua Balkowitz, who started off this entire pit sequence of being the first one to hit pit road every single time. He's up in this lead pack as well. Got an opportunity here for a lot of first-time winners this season. Lamas, Zach Buchanan, Megan Atkins, Noah Hart, Silverfox, Canepa, as well as Brandon Gonzalez and Joshua Balkowitz and rookie Tanner Sullivan. 3 wide for second. Megan Atkins going low. I'm trying to look and see if there's an opportunity for teammates to be able to work together. You got 3 of the Kyotech drivers Audis up here in Silverfox, Noah Hart, and Tanner Sullivan. They may be in the best shape. You got Jacob Lawler, who could work with Cody Lamas, and you got Joshua Michaels, who can work with Zach Buchanan. Hitting the stripe, it's going to be a total of 4 more laps to go. I'm hoping they're not going to have to pit again, because that pit window is right there on the mark of possibly them having to pit within the next lap or so. Certainly hoping that's not going to be the case. Like this whole lead group to be able to race it to the checkered flag here, as here comes Megan Atkins to the bottom. Drafting help from James Silverfox, looking for the lead. Could Atkins go for back-to-back seasons of winning this race at Dega? That would be amazing. I remember last season it was Jessica Shelton pushed her teammate Megan Atkins to the victory here at Dega. This is going to be Megan Atkins' final season at Snickers Cup. Her good friend Chris Dollerton going to be taking over that ride in the 33 for Michael Norman Motorsports next season. So what a way to end out the season it would be for Megan Atkins. There's Brandon Gonzalez in the 23. He'd love to be able to get Mitsubishi Lancer their second win of the season. And Gonzalez hasn't been to victory lane since season 4. Buchanan, I don't think, has been to victory lane since season 3. Next time by, it'll be the white flag, and that group of cars right there that you're looking at, they're going to be the ones to settle it out, but they do have drivers up ahead of them, too, that they're going to have to encounter. Well, no, they're not. Cole Daly is going to peel off onto pit road. Wise move by the 88, going to let these leaders battle it out for the win, but there still is another car up ahead of them. That is William Duncan in the 12. White flag displayed this time. Megan Atkins leads the way. Gonzalez in second. Here comes Brandon looking low, but they come up on William Duncan. Megan Atkins, is she going to be able to get around the 12 car? She is going to be able to get around the 12 car. And now here comes the 23 of Brandon Gonzalez going low. He's got Cody Lamas with him. Megan Atkins could be in trouble if those guys are able to draft right back up to her back bumper. Up ahead, Ralph Mason and Jessica Shelton just completed pit stops as they come around here through turns 3 and 4. Brandon Gonzalez is going to try and get a run here on Megan Atkins. He's got Cody Lamas with him all the way. Megan Atkins going to try and hold him off. Will Gonzalez be able to make a move here before the tri-oval? Megan Atkins moves up to get the draft off her teammate Jessica Shelton and will cross the stripe with the win. Megan Atkins, for the second straight season, wins here at Talladega Superspeedway. Comes in as the defending race winner and goes to victory lane once again in the same event that Atkins won her first career Snickers Cup Series victory at 1 year ago. Where did Levi McIntyre finish this race? He finished it in 29th position. That's enough for him to transfer his way into one of those final 4 positions. What about second in points, Jacob Lawler? Where did he finish this race? He finished in 10th. He is transferred. What about John Cittadino, third in points? He finished ahead of Lawler, I believe. He finished 8th. He has transferred in. Now comes the question between Dylan Poteet and Michael Norman. I think Poteet finished up inside the top 5. He finished in the 5th position. In order for Michael Norman to have denied him that 4th spot in the championship hunt, Norman would have had to have finished this race in 12th or better. Where did Norman finish out today's race? In the 24th position. Dylan Poteet is going to move his way into the championship picture. Michael Norman, Trent Dunham, Dylan Young, and Jessica Shelton have been eliminated. So, 2 former champions in Jacob Lawler and John Cittadino, a former Truck Series champion in Dylan Poteet, and Levi McIntyre, two-time winner this season and only his sophomore season in Snickers Cup, are going to be the four that are going to battle it out next week at Armory Digital Superspeedway to become the Season 8 Snickers Cup Series champion. Man, a caution-free 38-lap event at Talladega Superspeedway. So much strategy involved, and we have our final four that will battle it out for this season's championship in the Snickers Cup Series. Man, can't wait for that. Hope you guys are going to be tuning in for what's going to be an unbelievable finale weekend next week at Armory Digital Superspeedway. If you enjoyed today's race from Talladega Superspeedway, be sure to give this video a like, subscribe to become part of the crew today. Here comes your official full finish results, overall point standings, your rookie points, which will be a good battle heading next week as well, and your championship points, as you'll see your final four drivers, McIntyre, Lawler, Cittadino, and Poteet, that will be battling out for this season's championship. Also be sure to follow the NNSCRA on social media. Facebook and Twitter links are in the description, as you've been watching a production of the NNSCRA, offline racing at its best. See you next week at Armory. Dougie Shears just got turned by the lap machine of Charles Sanford, but now he's got left side damage. But he still opens up his distance. He still keeps a distance between himself and second place McCurry. But all that ground he gained, he just lost right there. But what a save!